President Uhuru Kenyatta has reiterated his decision to work with everybody, including the opposition, for the greater good of the nation. President Kenyatta says political competition is healthy, but leaders should not be destructive to the nation. President Kenyatta was speaking after receiving the Africa Peer Review Mechanism report from NEPID at State House today.
So let us work together in this spirit, ladies and gentlemen. This country belongs to all of us. This country needs all of us. And it's true, we can be political competitors, but we do not have to be destructors of our nation. We can compete in a civilized manner. All right? Recognizing that even after that competition, nobody's leaving Kenya. Nobody's going anywhere. Right? So when we say we are reaching out, how do you expect me to say that I am governing if I don't reach out to the 45, 46, whatever percent, or 48 people, whatever they decide? Yeah? But there's a huge chunk that didn't vote for me. I got to work with them, man.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations is set to determine whether to commence the latest round of arrests of graft suspects, this time on the Aror and Kimwarer Dam scandal. Currently, the offices of the DPP and DCI are held up in a meeting with investigators in possession of evidence implicating top government officials. Mel Miendo is at the DCI headquarters. Mel, what have you gathered?
All right, so we are at the DCI headquarters, and as you've mentioned, yes, there has been a very high-level meeting between the office of the DPP and the office of the DCI with regards to the arrests in the Aror and Kimwarer Dam scandal. So this entire week we've been seeing a lot happening here at the DCI headquarters, especially in terms of interrogations that have been going on. So far we know that about 4 cabinet secretaries and 4 principal secretaries have been grilled here at the DCI headquarters, and of course we are aware as well that those files are ready. Remember, as investigators, they must take those files to the prosecutors and then the arrests will be made. So we are expecting that these arrests will be made soon. We're not quite aware as to when, whether it'll be today or early next week, but we do know that there might not be any more quizzing from the investigators, as they seem to have a watertight evidence so far. So they seem to have everything that they need with regards to this specific case. Now, just remember, even in this week, we know that Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who came to the country about 2 days ago, even on that day, investigators left Nairobi to go to Mombasa to speak to Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri and his devolution partner Eugene Wamalwa, who we know have been at the helm and the center of these investigations. So, of course, there's been a lot of questions just why the investigators have to leave Nairobi to go to Mombasa for that specific reason. So we do know something is definitely cooking in terms of arrests being made soon. We also are aware that there is a possible sacking of 3 cabinet secretaries. We're not quite aware of their names because so far we know that about 4 of them have been grilled, but we also are aware that about 3 of them may face sacking. Now, one of the things that has been very interesting to note is that the Aror and Kimwarer dams have been taken through about 3 ministries from 2013 up until now. The Jubilee government took power in 2013, and from then till now, the specific dams we're talking about have been moved from the Environment Ministry, then to Devolution, then to the East African Community. And so there's been a lot going on. We are still here at the DCI headquarters just to see what we can find out, maybe a bit more about what's been going on with the investigations. We do know it's very sensitive. The investigators are very sensitive with regards to the information that is being disseminated out there, but we are going to keep you updated on just how far this will go.
Thank you, Mel Miendo, coming to us from Kiamburu, to be specific, the DCI headquarters. So will there be arrests in connection to the Aurora and Kimorer Dam scandals? Well, we shall find out after that meeting between the DPP and DCI is over, and Mel Miendo is keeping an eye on the same. Now, elsewhere, the Senate Public Accounts Committee has accused the Samburu County Executive of colluding with the County Assembly, while the public in the county suffer due to unaccounted monies and incomplete projects. The committee's visit to Samburu County turned into an arena of insults between the Governor Moses Lenol Kulal and the county's Senator Steve Tumbesi over allegations of embezzlement of county funds.
Evidence against Lenol Kulal is in the public domain.
He is the governor, is one fool. This is a thief.
Order.
This is a thief before us. This is a thief before us. And I stand to say, a thief is before us, and he's soon going to jail.
Senator, order. Senator, I want to order.
Routinely, we want to cover all our wards and doing all these projects. The summary of the projects done from 2013, and probably it is an issue that we can review.
We have not come here for witch hunt or for political competition, but we have come here to find a way of helping Samburu County.
Among projects that the committee is visiting today is a bridge budgeted at 65 million shillings that has never been completed since 2014. On the 5th of March, the High Court froze Lenol Kulal bank accounts as investigators probe the suspected misuse of 1.6 billion shillings by his administration. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission alleged that the governor and his officials had been inflating costs and making fictitious procurement contracts, which led to the loss of the 1.6 billion shillings between 2013 and December 2018. Senate PSC Chair Moses Kajwang has accused the county executive of colluding with the county assembly, while the public suffer due to embezzlement of county funds that has derailed development projects.
Indeed, it is true that money has been lost in Samburu. What is it that the county assembly has done? Where was the county assembly when all that was happening? And what is it that the county government of Samburu is doing to make sure that there is no further loss of public funds?
After the visit, the Senate committee is expected to make a report and recommendations over the matter. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Now, Marsabit Governor Mohamud Ali has maintained that inadequate number of courts in Marsabit County is making residents seeking justice suffer by traveling long distances to access the only court available in the region. While speaking to the Judicial Service Commission commissioners who had visited the county, Mohamud reiterated the need to establish courts that will deal with environmental and land issues in the county. Mohamud has requested JSC to build a court in Loyangalani, Laisamis and North War. The JSC commissioners visited the site where Marsabit High Court is under construction and held a meeting with the area court staff and the court users committee.
This county is the largest, 800 kilometers from Loyangalani to Moyale. You can imagine people traveling all the way from Loyangalani, 400 kilometers to here. We want to request if you can manage, please kindly consider putting up a court there. We have already allocated land for you. Land is not a problem with us. Given you land in Loyangalani, in North Hall, in Laisamis. At the moment, we only have courts in Moyale and here in Mas. You devolve for us environment and land court. At the moment, we travel as far as Nyeri, both for this and for the employment and labor relations. Issues keep coming up, and this forces us to travel all the way.
Elsewhere, business came to a standstill at Tata Chemicals in Magadi as over 1,000 locals led by Kajiado County Governor Joseph Olelenku stormed the premises in protest. This follows ongoing conflict between the firm and the county government over alleged failure to pay 17 billion shillings in taxes.
Up in arms and voices of discontentment raised even higher. Locals of Magadi area in Kajiado County stormed into the premises of Tata Chemicals in Magadi in protest, led by no less than their governor Joseph Olelenku. The county says that among the concerns is a 17 billion shilling debt that the soda ash manufacturer owes the county.
If then Magadi Tata Chemicals is not going to comply with the laws of Kenya, it must exist. It must exist from Kenya. Else, the people will take the law by their hand.
Governor Lenku is accused of leading over 1,000 locals into the company, exposing them to the harsh conditions of the chemicals and possible side effects. Business came to a standstill. Area MCA Joseph Masiaya countered the move, saying it was uncalled for.
What we were expecting was a meeting where the governor was going to meet the residents of Magadi. So how the demo came about got us by surprise.
The demos are despite President Uhuru Kenyatta saying that the government will mediate on the conflict. Lenku accuses the firm of using its financial muscles in reckless abandon as he took swipes at Titus Naikuni, who has served as the vice chairman and a shareholder.
Tata Chemicals Magadi has always found their way through the unlimited money from our staff. One time, Titus Naikuni asked me some years to his face that this is a corrupt government, where you are asking for taxes.
Naikuni had previously argued that the firm had already struck a deal with the former county government to reduce this arrears to 160 million shillings for the disputed land rates for the entire period. According to Lenku, the county will forcefully repossess the 224,991-acre piece of leased land, as he insists that the farm should exit Kenya if it cannot abide by the law. Some residents also want negotiations with the company over proposals in the collective bargaining agreement. Tata Magadi maintains employment opportunities have been fairly distributed, with locals comprising of 70% of the workforce. Helen Aura, NTV.
An 82-year-old man is nursing serious injuries in Kitui South following a horrific attack by an armed bandit in Muthe, Kitui South on Sunday. The residents claim there has been a significant rise in insecurity along the Kitui-Tana River County border as a result of the dry spell that has forced neighboring communities to fight for pasture and water for their livestock.
Kinyamasio Kiteme is at home nursing wounds following a confrontation with one of the herders in the area. The dispute happened in Muthe on Sunday when the Somali herder approached Kiteme and asked him to give him his shoes. Kiteme, being hesitant, asked the bandit what he needed the shoes for. All hell broke loose after that as the bandit hit Kiteme with his rungu, breaking both his wrists.
Ni ngumu kufika yeye, lakini mimi kachukua hatua ya kunipika mkuu. Kwa nguvu yake akafika akavunja. Mimi nikaanguka. Kanikata panga hii na hii mara 3. Basi nikakuwa tayari kwa kazi yake.
Kiteme's son, Simon Wambua, was alarmed when he got home and did not find his father. He immediately launched a manhunt with other kinsmen, only to find him lying in a dried pool of blood and immediately rushed him to hospital.
Chanzo cha hao watu kutuua ni mashamba yetu. Wakilisha mashamba yetu na kwa nguvu, tukiwauliza ndio wanatuua na hakuna mtu anatusaidia.
Kyoko David, a local, claims that herders of Somalia roam the area freely, dangling their AK-47 rifles as they herd their camels amid reports that they have bribed area police officers who cannot repulse them from people's farmlands.
Kuna watu wengi wameuawa karibu 5, 4, hakuna kinyi kinachukuliwa. Mtu anauma, maana inaenda hivi inaisha. Kazi yao ni kuja kuchukua mtu wanapeleka na wanaisha.
The locals want Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i to address the security issue in the area, saying they live in constant fear. Helen Wanjohi, NTV.
And to that drought that has hit most parts of the country, Mark Lomunokol, Kachaliba Member of Parliament, is blaming drought and the looming hunger in the region for insecurity challenges in West Pokot and Turkana counties. Speaking in Kapenguria, Lomunokol said that the shortage of food drives residents in the semi-arid area to engage in cattle rustling and banditry activities. Politicians were also put under the spotlight of rising tensions, with Lomunokol saying some leaders were inciting the locals over a long-lasting boundary row.
Kuchochea wananchi ama uhasama haisaidii. Dawa ni sisi kukaa chini na tuongee vile tuliongea hapo awali, tupate kuweka watu wetu kwa pamoja.
To Garissa County, and the Governor Ali Korane has expressed displeasure over National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale's allegations that counties in the arid and semi-arid areas are employing staff with fake academic certificates.
Thank you very much.
Governor Ali Korane speaking during the launch of a Safaricom-funded program that provides treatment for children living with diabetes in Garissa emphasized the value of skills in the job market, while clearly stating that no one can dictate who he hires.
Huenda ikawa watu wana wasiwasi kwa sababu hili limetajwa na lile limetajwa. Nataka kuambia ya kwamba hii county ni yetu. Hii ni serikali yetu na tunaweza kufanya chochote ambacho sisi tunataka kufanya. We don't need anybody's approval.
His remarks coming shortly after a stinging attack about unqualified workers in counties made by National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale.
There are many people working there and they bought their degrees from Riverroad. Yeah. And the guys who went to college, universities have no jobs. That is a serious fraud.
Watu wengi hawafahamu hii devolution, wanafikiri sisi the department ya serikali ambaye inasimamiwa huko Nairobi. Hii serikali tunaweza kutoa mtu ambaye anachuma ng'ombe Abalatiro, tuje tukalete hapa aweze kusimamia kazi yetu ile sisi ambaye tunaona ya kwamba tunahitaji.
Korane told the county workers that their jobs will be safe no matter what.
Kazi yenu mutakaa naye na hakuna mtu ambaye ataweza kuwatoa kwa hiyo kazi. Wasiwasi wacha, mnaweza kuwa interview, mnaweza kuwa interrogated, mnaweza kutishwa. Kwa sababu mkifutwa leo, kesho naweza kuandika nyinyi tena.
Despite the fact that Duale's utterances spoke of the larger northern region, they have attracted immediate fury from Garissa County workers. Salah Mohammed, NTV, Garissa.
To some business, insurance group Britam Holdings will not pay its shareholders a dividend for the financial year ended 31st December 2018 after sliding into a 2.2 billion shillings loss from a 527 million shillings profit in 2017. The group attributed the loss to poor performance of its property business due to a depressed property market, restructuring costs, and the bear run on the Nairobi Securities Exchange that left it with 3.2 billion shillings in paper losses compared to 0.9 billion shillings gains in 2017. Britam's total asset base, however, crossed the $1 billion mark, expanding to 103.6 billion shillings from 99 billion shillings in 2017.
The loss is explained by the fact that our investments, particularly in the stock market and in the property segment, have not done extremely well. But the good news is that our core business remains resilient and it has continued to grow, and we are very encouraged by the growth in our business. Britam is now a $1 billion company. This is very encouraging news for us, and we are one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest in our space in this part of the world, and we are seeking to continue growing this business in line with our strategy, which is Go for Gold.
The Kenya Institute Management, that is KIM, has jumped onto the ongoing interest rates cap debate, voicing support of the cap, arguing that it has helped tame fluctuations in the rate of borrowing in the country. The Institute's Chief Executive Officer, Murithi Ndegwa, says the rate has had a positive impact on the economy, as borrowers are certain about the rates at which they will obtain lending, which helps in making investment decisions, but admits that there are various other ways of measuring the success of the cap. The Banking Amendment Act of 2017, or 2016 rather, which capped interest rates at 4% above the central bank rate, was recently declared unconstitutional by the High Court in a ruling that was appealed by the Consumer Federation of Kenya.
I think there is a positive aspect to it, in the sense that when you're taking a facility as a consumer, you know very well that the interest rate is not going to go beyond a certain level. And I think if, as a consumer, you know very well that the rate is not going to go beyond a certain level, and you know very well that this is capped at a certain level, it becomes a little bit positive. Because if I look at the past, some years ago, interest rates used to fluctuate at very astronomical levels. And unfortunately, it was very difficult a couple of years ago when the rates are so high and the businesses are not giving that much good returns for you to be able to balance between the rate that you are paying and also the returns that you're getting from the business.
A company trading as Kenya Towers Limited is in court seeking to overturn the decision of a magistrate to stop the setup of a base transceiver within Nyayo Estate meant to transmit radiation. The appellant company is aggrieved with ruling of a court issued on 6th of August 2018, saying that the base station being set up by Eton Towers Limited poses a health risk to the residents of the vast estate. The applicants further asked the court to issue an injunction against Eton Towers to stop them from constructing and making installations until the matter before the High Court is heard and determined. The Deputy Registrar of the High Court has directed that they appear before the presiding judge in May 2019. The Anti-Corruption Court in Kisumu will set the ruling date in the 2.3 billion Miwani Sugar Company fraud on the 1st of April. This morning, the final mention of the matter, where former magistrate Abdul Kadir Al-Kindi is among the 8 people facing charges, could not proceed as scheduled since the presiding magistrate Julius Ngangar was out. The court heard that Justice Ngangar was away attending the annual Magistrates and Kadis colloquium. Now, resident magistrate Rose Ndombi, who stood in for him, set next Monday as a final mention of the day or of the case about a crime alleged to have happened between 2007 and 2008. Other suspects in the matter are Kibos Sugar and Allied Companies Chairman Sukwinda Singh Chate, Ian Gakoi Mawa, Odongo Phillips Katiba, Moses Nyaburo Osewe, Kefa Lumumba Atunga, Epainto Apono Okoyo, and Cosley Holdings Limited. Now, new job opportunities are opening up in Uasin Gishu County, with youth getting a promise of jobs from Toyota Kenya in the next year. This follows the motor vehicle company's plan to open a 450 million shilling showroom in Eldoret, which will be its second largest in Kenya. The facility, which will sit on a 4-acre parcel of land, is set to be completed in 1 year and will play host to various brands under the Toyota fold. The company also recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Rift Valley Technical Training Institute on industry collaboration.
We do need proper premises to operate from, and that's why we have chosen to establish this world-class purpose-built premises for all our businesses. Beginning, of course, with our flagship business, which is the motor industry, and with that, our Toyota brand.
The investment Toyota Kenya is putting here is up to the tune of 450 million, and is on completion going to create direct employment of about 50 to 60 people, and indirect employment of close to 1,000 people.
Across the borders, Somalia's capital Mogadishu has seen a deadly 1 week with sustained attacks by insurgent group Al-Shabaab, claiming the lives of close to 30 people. A car bomb exploded near a hotel and restaurants in Mogadishu on Thursday, killing at least 15 people in a busy area of the Somali capital targeted by Islamist militants before. The blast in the busy Makkah al-Mukarramah road sent a huge cloud of smoke into the sky, causing destruction in nearby buildings and parked cars. Dozens of people were injured in that blast. The bombing is the latest in a recent string of blasts in the capital, which has been hit regularly by Al-Shabaab attacks. Mozambique President Filipe Nyusi says the country is facing one of the biggest natural disasters in its history after Cyclone Idai ravaged vast areas of the country 2 weeks ago. Nyusi said at a news conference that the work to reopen access roads and re-establish telecommunications and energy and water supplies continues.
The Mozambican city of Beira is making progress in restoration efforts after the devastating Cyclone Idai ravaged the city on March 14. 90% of the downtown area was damaged. Workers are repairing buildings and clearing uprooted trees which are blocking roads. Power supply for hospitals and other public services have been restored, and communication in the downtown area is generally back to normal. Possible outbreaks of cholera and malaria are still major concerns after the cyclone. To help with restoration efforts, Chinese rescue teams participated in disinfecting some downtown areas following the team's arrival in Beira on Monday. The rescue teams also held training sessions for residents to prevent epidemic outbreaks. Search and rescue operations are still underway in the city. Thousands of people were trapped for more than a week in submerged villages without access to clean water. According to the International Organization for Migration, the cyclone has killed at least 446 in Mozambique, with over 100,000 displaced. The cyclone has also caused widespread destruction in Zimbabwe and Malawi. Meanwhile, Mozambique President Filipe Nyusi said the country was facing one of the biggest natural disasters in its history. Nyusi says the region may also have lost infrastructure worth more than 1 billion shillings to the disaster. Many families face the same challenge as hundreds of thousands of people are in need of food, water and shelter in Mozambique. For those with newborns and expecting the babies shortly, the demand for safety and access to healthcare is even higher. Cyclone Idai affected more than 75,000 pregnant women, with 45,000 births expected over the next 6 months, according to the UNFPA. Of those births, 7,000 are at risk of life-threatening complications due to flooding and destruction. With 1.85 million people affected by the cyclone in Mozambique, the government is struggling to restore basic maternal and child health care.
Back home and to Makueni County, sunflower farmers are set to benefit from a new partnership aiming to shaking off middlemen in the supply chain of a commodity. Over 600 farmers in the county will sell their sunflower seeds directly to Bidco Africa through the DigiFarm platform. Makueni is the first county to pilot the end-to-end value chain, which runs from registration of farmers to accessing a ready market.
Farmers in Makueni County provide 2,000 metric tons of sunflower to Bidco Africa annually. This is a fifth of the seeds required by the farm every year. They are set to reap more now due to the new partnership with Bidco and DigiFarm that will enable them to sell their produce directly to the company.
Ukipanda haihitaji mvua mingi, hata mvua ikiwa kitoko utavuna. Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni rahisi kupata pesa. Ukipanda utapata mazao na unauza unapata pesa.
We are buying at 35 shillings a kilo, but as we promised, as we continue scaling up and improving the productivity and quality, I'm sure the price will go up.
DigiFarm is an integrated free-to-use mobile platform which offers small-scale farmers access to a suite of information and financial services.
Although we are using technology to inform farmers on what to do, we still need to make sure that there are people who work day by day with the farmers, so that is an area of improvement. I think making sure that we get the inputs and the seeds and everything in on time so that the farmers are able to maximize their yield and their output is another area of improvement.
The 640 sunflower farmers in Makueni will be beneficiaries of the pilot program, which is seeing them get encouraged through diversity. Makueni County boasts of the highest number of farmers registered under DigiFarm in the country. That is over 217,000 out of the close to 1 million farmers registered countrywide. The county hopes that the partnership will go a long way in motivating small-scale farmers become more self-reliant. Eunice Omolo, NTV.
Time now for the sporting action. Brian Otwal is in studio with the latest.
Let's have a look at the latest in sports, and the course for tomorrow's IAAF World Cross Country Championship in Aarhus, Denmark, promises to take the event back to its roots of being a test of endurance. Competitors must negotiate obstacles such as sandpits, water holes and mud pits while competing 2 kilometers loops of the course as quickly as possible. They must also pass through a runner's Valhalla fun zone and a Viking zone lined with peoples dressed accordingly. The centerpiece of the route is grass-covered roof of the Mosgard Museum, which with the athletes must run over each lap 250 meters at a 10% gradient. Focus will be on two-time champion Geoffrey Kamworor in the senior men's race and World 5000 champion Helen Obiri in the senior women's race. And Gor Mahia are set to play Morocco's RS Berkane in a CAF Confederation Cup quarterfinal first leg on April 7th. But the team is facing a variety of problems ranging from suspensions and possible stadium and unavailability. Coach Hassan Oktay is banned from sitting on the technical bench and accessing the dressing rooms during the match due to continuous protesting against the referees in their 1-0 win over Angolan giants Petro Atletico. CAF has also suspended 4 players, namely Harun Shakava, Shafik Batambuze, Jacques Tuisenge and Ernest Wendo. Shakava will miss the first leg in Nairobi. Tuisenge and Batambuze will be unavailable in the 2 legs of the quarter-final, while Wendo has been handed a 3-match ban. Meanwhile, Kasarani Stadium has been scheduled to host an expo. And Ushuru could return to the top of the National Super League standings when they host second placed from bottom Green Commandos, and that is at the Ruaraka grounds at 3 p.m. Wazito are currently on 50 points from 23 games following the win over Caribera's Black Stars on Wednesday. However, Ushuru have 48 points with a game in hand, and victory over Green Commandos this afternoon could see them top of the group with 51 points. In other fixtures today, Kangemi All-Stars clash with Eldoret Youth at the Kamtoyoyo. Fortune Sacco play Thika United at the Thika Stadium. Modern Coast Rangers face Nairobi Steamer at the Serena Sports Ground, and Coast Steamer meet FC Talanta at the Mbaraki Sports Ground. And Manchester United, that is manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has said that he wants to be the best Ole after being confirmed as the English Premier League club's permanent manager on a 3-year deal. The 46-year-old Norwegian has guided United to 14 wins in 19 matches in all competitions as caretaker since replacing sacked Jose Mourinho in December. Federer gained a measure of revenge against Wimbledon nemesis Kevin Anderson as he defeated the South African 6-love 6-4 at the Miami Open to set up a mouth-watering semi-final against a player barely half his age. A three-time winner at the Miami, Federer will have little time to rest his 37-year-old legs before the tour of Corsica leg of the World Rally Championship. Driving a Toyota Mic clocked 3 minutes 46.7 seconds, 0.9 seconds ahead of reigning champion Sebastian Ogier of France in Citroën. Championship leader Otanak of Estonia in a Toyota was third quickest, a further 0.5 seconds behind. Again later, a lot more in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Gladys.
Thank you, Brian Otwal, with the latest from the sporting world. Yes, a lot of news coming your way in our subsequent bulletins. Do stay with us and have a great weekend. My name is Gladys Gachanja.